Good morning, afternoon, friends. If you're watching live, welcome to this live teaching here today. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Tracy Brown, and I lead a team of non-diet dietitians, and we help people feel safer in their own skin around food and body, movement, nervous system health, and all the ingestion and digestion that needs to happen for us to be thriving. So that's kind of what we do here. And I thought it would be interesting to revisit this topic. If you're looking for some of my past videos about this topic, you can go to YouTube. It's the fastest way to find it. Tracy Brown RD. And in that search, Tracy Brown RD with the word attachment. And you'll find some videos that I've already talked about this, but I thought I would add some more information and more just a refresher on this topic. I'm also going to reference a lovely book. I recommend you get it if you're not aware of the topic of attachment and food. Probably the lens at which I look at disordered eating and body image issues definitely comes from a more relational, attachment-based kind of lens, just because, food is care, and some of our first care and nurturance and nourishment comes from those relational moments of receiving care, including food. So I think it's all very connected. When we're under stress and have conflict, that it might impact how we see care. If a lot of our internal conflicts, or external conflicts, if they come from a relational standpoint of how we're treated in the world around our food and our bodies, it makes sense that we're going to view maybe food as care as a threat. I think that's one of the big reasons people don't seek help for their eating disorders, or sooner than, most people wait until things are really desperate to get help with their food or health or body image issues, because it's hard to be vulnerable. And the fact that it's so hard for people to be vulnerable tells me that we've had some wounds around relational care. I just think that a lot of our avoidance and our pride, fear comes from the fact that we're afraid to be judged, we're afraid to be rejected, all those kind of things. So I think that's why this topic is so important, and seeking care sooner than later. All right, so I want to quote a few things from Tiffany's book. Again, it's called Enough by Tiffany North. And then I'll kind of add in some of my thoughts on it a little bit more, flesh it out a little bit more for you. So she labels really beautifully attachment styles, but from a food perspective. And I want to use her definitions. They're really neat. So we're going to talk about 4 today. And we're talking about with food. So this is like a little non-official assessment for you, not a diagnosable thing or anything. But if you're really secure with food, you're probably going to have low anxiety and need for control around it, and low avoidance. So again, food is food. Easy breezy, what we all want. The reason that we do this work is because we love people. We want to see people be their own food and nutrition experts. And we just want food to be food and to be pleasurable and enjoyable and a part of life, which means you're going to have low anxiety and need to control it. And you're going to have low avoidance of it. That's called secure with food. We're not having a conversation here. Just a disclaimer about food security or food insecurity, like having enough. But that does play in here. So just for the sake of having some definition of terms, I'm talking about the emotional security with food, not the tangible, I have enough food or I don't. Okay? Different conversation. If you're preoccupied with food, what that's going to look like is it's going to feel like food controls me. High anxiety about eating, need for control around the eating, but low avoidance. So you're going to see a lot of kind of ping-ponging, some deprivation-driven eating, emotional eating, ping-ponging back to dieting, or just preoccupation with it. Maybe you're not dieting, but you think you should be. Maybe you think you should be eating differently, but you're not. That would be called preoccupied with food. Okay? Avoidant with food would be like a statement of, I control my food and body. So preoccupied with food would be, food controls me. Avoidant with food would be, I control my food and body. So you can even feel the difference in the words. And again, you can flip-flop between both. That's actually normal too. Different depends on what kind of internal conflicts you're dealing with here. So just so you know, it's not one or the other. It can be both, but some people veer towards one or the other. Avoidant with food is high anxiety and need for control and high avoidance. So a lot of effort being put into not hearing your body's signals, or if you do hear them and you do know what they mean, there's some kind of wounding inside that says, well, I might want it, but tough, I'm not going to do it. It's too much of a threat. Whether and some people, and there's a lot of like control and shame and pride in there, and pride in being controlling versus preoccupied. I'm adding some more to this. Preoccupied would be feeling a lot of shame for not being able to like have all that avoidance. But they're the same thing. They're both forms of pride. You've got your I'm so bad pride and I'm so good pride, right? They're both extremes because we're talking about food here. Where your morality isn't hinged on, honestly, what you're eating. But when you have wounds in you around care being a threat, it's going to feel like that you need to be a certain kind of way not to be rejected. And the last one here, she calls in her book dismissive avoidant, which is, I don't even want to think about food. I don't want to deal with it. And this is a circumstance where you're not really even registering that you are anxious about food. But there's still a lot of high avoidance. So it's a little more subconscious. Like I'm avoiding getting my needs met. I'm not even taking the time to think about it. It's like I'm a little bit on autopilot. So you can see how this is a little bit more in your face dissociative, which is the other two are a little bit more like a little bit of more fight or flight. You can feel the difference in the energy of it, right? And so it tells us that there's fight or flight, freeze or please happening, and all of these are just depending on where you are. And they're just, and the secure with food is just a juxtaposition of like, this is where we want to go with this journey. And here's what it looks like when we're not secure, essentially. You have to be somewhere. Okay, what does all this mean for you if you fall into these categories? There is hope, because the good news is we can renew our minds. We can build new nervous system neural pathways to where food and people and care are not a threat. How do you do that? Well, you can't intellectualize it. People tend to try to like think they can hack their neurobiology here how you think is super important. But remember, these nerve pathways are actual physical. So what you do actually signals that it's safe to keep doing these new things. So you have to, basically, the whole, again, a huge part of the work we do is about safe relationship. So we need to do new behaviors, and most of the time we need support to do that. You do new things in co-regulations, like, oh, I did a new thing, or I tried a new thing and nothing bad happened, and get that validation over and over and over again with our new experiences, even as simply as like, wow, did you notice this happens to me in session every week? It's like, oh, did you notice that you mentioned something about that, or you did that thing and nothing bad happened here as you recalled that with me? And holding a pause to let that moment land, where it's like, oh, I thought if I talked about how I felt, or if I ate the new food and I told somebody, they would judge me or shame me, or, oh, you're not worried about me gaining 2 pounds, or, oh, like I didn't disappoint you, or I didn't hide from you what I was doing, and I just kind of had the experience with you and nothing bad happened. Yeah. That's how we build new neural pathways, is we have new good experiences over and over and over again. And it makes us less anxious and need to be in control and less avoidant. That builds our confidence and capacity to be able to be secure with food. Like, oh, my security with food got screwed up because of influences of diet culture. So how do you get that healed? Well, you provide what was missing, which was like lots of experiences and experience with food, and you learn what works and what doesn't, and you're not being interfered with other people's trauma, essentially, or maybe agenda that doesn't benefit you. You build this internal locus and control of within yourself. I know what I need, and I know some skills, or I'm building some skills to get that need met. Versus like thinking that being anxious about food and overthinking about food is going to fix it, or being controlling about food is going to fix it, or eating all the food is going to fix that, what's missing inside, which is, I'm okay. So this video helped you. This is the kind of work that sometimes when you know what to do, but you're terrified to do it inside, you could try to go forward, and every time you try to do intuitive eating, things feel like the wheels fall off. You get big emotions. You want to eat all the food, and that terrifies you. What is everybody going to think? Oh my gosh. When you're having all those things, that's your insides with these wounds saying that like doing the right thing's a threat. So we have to provide experiences that say otherwise. If that kind of work interests you, please reach out to us. The link will be below if you want to just chat to see if this is the right fit for you to be able to re-secure your relationship with food just within yourself, because you're going to attach something. If you're not attached to security with trusting yourself, knowing how to meet your needs with your food, knowing what's best for your body, if you don't secure to that, you're going to secure to diet culture in some way or another. You're either going to be super preoccupied, or you're going to be dismissive. But either way, you were wired to attach to something. So remember that. If you're not healing, you're attached to some version of what keeps you disconnected with reality and with the truth of how your body works. And that regardless of what your body is going through, it's not against you. It's just... it's the physiology of your body is not against you. Your body just wants to do its cellular processes. So that's not what your threat is. It's the beliefs that we believe about getting our needs met is what causes all the pain and suffering. So let's work on those beliefs about getting needs met. All right, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you in the next one. If you have any questions about this, put them in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.